It has now become 20 years since anybody has seen him. We are here today in New York to collect petitions calling on the Chinese government, calling on Zhu Weikun, who claims to have seen the Panchen Lama, who claims that the Panchen Lama is growing up healthy and he's okay. But that's not good enough for us. We as Tibetans, we want to see the Panchen Lama. We need proof that he is alive. We need proof that he is doing well. We have collected over 7,000 signatures to this day. If you are here, if you can hear me, take action for the Panchen Lama and sign a petition. Your petition can make a difference for Tibet and it can help free the Panchen Lama. At this point, I'd like to ask the Executive Director of Students for Free Tibet, Tenzin Drokar, to say a few words regarding the Panchen Lama.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, it should be okay. It should be alright. I'll just hold it this way. So I want to thank everyone who's actually shown up today at Union Square. What I do want to let you guys know also is that there's a couple of us here today, here in Union Square, but to know that there has been hundreds and thousands of Tibetans and supporters around the world who have stood up today, gone out into the streets of Paris, London, in Dharamsala, in Barcelona, everywhere. Tibetans and supporters have gone out into the streets everywhere around the world today to commemorate, to remember the Panchen Lama. Remember the Panchen Lama, remember who he is to us, to our people, to our movement, and to our struggle. And I want to thank everyone who has shown up here today. I think for us, what we want to try to remember every time that we come to speak, to stand up for the Panchen Lama, is try to remember who he is to us. What does it mean to us and our people and our movement? Because at the end of the day, it's not just, it's not the Panchen Lama story, the story of this young boy, this 6-year-old boy who was abducted and disappeared with his family 20 years ago. It's not just a story about this one young boy. It's the story of our entire people. The story of Panchen Lama, the story of Gyalten Chökyi Nyima, a 6-year-old boy. How many of us know a 6-year-old boy? Whether they are our sons or our nephews, brothers, cousins, that a 6-year-old boy was abducted with his entire family and disappeared for the past 20 years. His story is our story. His story is the Tibetan people's story. It's our struggle's story. It underlines, it defines the basic and the bizarre cruelty. The cruelty with which the Chinese government rules. The cruelty with which the Chinese government rules the Tibetan people in Tibet. The story of Gyalten Chökyi Nyima, the story of the Panchen Lama who was abducted and disappeared when he was a 6-year-old boy, defines the story of the Tibetan people's struggle. It defines our struggle. That's why, even if for the past 20 years we have not heard news, we have not actually seen evidence of the fact that he's alive, or maybe even dead, that we still come out every year. For his birthday, for his anniversary of his disappearance, we come out because of the fact that his story defines our people's struggle for freedom and human rights and independence. That's why we come out. That's why Tibetans come out. That's why our friends and supporters come out. And we will continue to do that because inside Tibet, the Tibetan people themselves who are living inside Tibet under the brutality and the violence of the Chinese government, they have not given up on the Panchen Lama. They have not given up for what he inspires, for what he defines. This hope for freedom, this aspiration for freedom and human rights. The Tibetan people themselves have not given up for the Panchen Lama because of what he means to us in our struggle. Over 139 Tibetans Tibetans have self-immolated, have burned themselves for freedom, calling for human rights inside Tibet. And almost every single one of them at the same time have called for the release of the Panchen Lama. Because he stands, he inspires freedom for the Tibetan people. And so if the Tibetan people inside Tibet are not giving up on the Panchen Lama, we are not giving up on the Panchen Lama. So every year, for his birthday, for the anniversary of his disappearance, we'll come out calling for his release, calling for freedom, calling for human rights. And because at the end of the day, we're also at the same time exposing for what the Chinese government is, this cruel, brutal regime, that this insecure regime would go and abduct a 6-year-old boy because they saw him as a threat to their rule, their illegitimate rule inside Tibet. And we'll do that, we'll continue to do that. And I want to thank everyone and to please to sign that petition, to take action with the Tibetan people, to help amplify the Tibetan people inside their call for freedom, their call for justice, their call for the release of the Panchen Lama.
So please do sign the petition. It's also online. So if there's one thing that all of us can do today on the anniversary of the disappearance of the Panchen Lama is to post the petition online and have all your friends sign it. With that, the work that we can do is amplified by the number of signatures that we together can collect. So thank you for coming out. And before we leave, if we could just take a really quick group shot here.